UK became the first country in the Western world to start its mass vaccination drive. Now, even though the vaccination drive is currently underway in United Kingdom, UK recorded its biggest spike in COVID-19 cases since the start of this pandemic. Over the past 24 hours, close to 36,000 new cases of COVID-19 were reported across the UK while vaccination drive is on, and this is being driven due to a new strain of COVID-19. And due to concerns over a new strain of coronavirus spreading rapidly in the UK, a string of countries have now begun closing their doors to travellers from Britain. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson will chair an emergency response meeting to discuss international travel after several European countries placed new restrictions on travel to and from the United Kingdom. Passengers at London's international gate to Paris and Brussels rushed to secure tickets to leave the city on Sunday. Outgoing travellers also queued up in London to catch the last trains leaving before a midnight deadline ban imposed by Belgium. The UK government tightened its COVID-19 restrictions for London and nearby areas and disrupted the Christmas holiday plans of millions of people as the new virus strain has led to spiralling infection numbers. The government issued an advisory saying, do not travel unless it is absolutely essential. British Transport Minister Grant Shapps urged haulers not to travel to ports in Kent in southern England after France said that it would bar those coming from Britain for 48 hours from Sunday night, as significant disruption is expected in the area. France banned all travel from the United Kingdom for 48 hours from midnight on Sunday. This includes ban on trucks carrying freight through the tunnel under the English Channel or from the port of Dover on England's south coast. The port of Dover's ferry terminal has been closed to all accompanied traffic leaving the UK until further notice due to border restrictions in France. Italy joined other European nations in suspending travel from Britain. Anyone who has transited through Britain in the last 14 days is also prohibited from entering Italy. Germany and the Netherlands ordered a suspension of flights from Britain, while Ireland said it would impose restrictions on flights and ferries from its neighbour. Belgium said it would close borders to flights and trains, including the popular Eurostar service coming from the United Kingdom. The Netherlands has banned flights from the UK until the new year. The ban came into effect on Sunday morning, joining a growing list of countries barring British travellers. Canada halted passenger flights from the United Kingdom for 72 hours. Israel has also banned flights from Britain, Denmark and South Africa due to fears about the new strain. Anyone returning to Israel from these countries would have to go into mandatory 14-day quarantine. Joining us on this broadcast is WION's London Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, who's live with us. For more details, Mandy, authorities in the UK thought that the start of the vaccination drive would mark the beginning of the end of the pandemic. But a few days later, United Kingdom has become the country from where a new strain of COVID-19 has emerged, resulting in the biggest record spike in daily cases in UK since the start of this pandemic, nearly 36,000 cases. Countries, like we just told our viewers, are banning travel to and from UK now. But the biggest question is just where has this new strain emerged from, which is said to be far more infectious?
It's what we do know is it likely started off in the southeast around London. That's where they noticed the spike of infections. It's a mutation, so they don't know exactly who patient zero is, but they know that this mutation is incredibly virulent, and that's why we're seeing this super spreading level of infection happening. The WHO has been informed, and they're talking directly with the UK government to find out more about it. The problem with this new strain is that it is so virulent, and also it doesn't have a lot of exhibits, a lot of symptoms, so people are carrying it, spreading it very quickly, and that's why we're seeing the spike. It's the reason why the plans for Christmas was immediately shut down, because they just can't get this new strain under control.
Right. For our viewers on the screens, we are putting out a list of countries that have already imposed restrictions on travel to and from UK. What are the steps that UK government, Boris Johnson, is going to take to prevent a further spread of this virus infection, not just in UK, but across the world?
Well, the borders have been pretty much closed. It's only been essential travel. Most of the southeast is in a tier 4, which is pretty much a complete lockdown. Not all non-essential shops closed. Only you are encouraged to go only if absolutely necessary, and all Christmas plans that Boris Johnson had premised beforehand have been all but stopped. People are strongly encouraged to stay at home. So as much as possible, as difficult as it is, it really needs to slow down the spread, and that means that people remain at home, that the Christmas plans that were in place have been cancelled, and people don't travel unless they have to.
Let us just remind our viewers that these steps are precautionary across Europe and across the world. The restrictions are being imposed to prevent the spread of this new strain. But one good news here, Mandy, is that Germany's health minister says that the vaccines that are developed are already effective against this new strain of COVID. So anybody who gets the vaccine will not get this new strain of COVID-19. But the biggest challenge is, once again, to vaccinate many people so that they don't get infected, isn't it?
Yes, that means mass vaccinations, and that is logistically very challenging. Of course, it's the priority people who are getting vaccinated first, the vulnerable, the elderly, the key workers, those frontline workers in hospitals. But it would require a mass population to get inoculated, because a lot of them carry without showing the symptoms, and that could take months for that to happen. So although the vaccine is rolled out, the solution for COVID to slow down, stop this new, it's months, not weeks.
Mandy, you know, we were telling you and our viewers the list of countries that have imposed restrictions on travel to and from the UK. We are just getting a news alert, and we are learning that the Indian government has also, as a measure of abundant precaution, passengers arriving from UK in all transit flights that have taken off, or flights which are reaching India before the 22nd of December, all the passengers in those flights will be subject to mandatory RT-PCR test on arrival at airports concerned. Now, this we are learning that in all passengers arriving from the UK will be tested in India due to this new strain that has emerged in the UK. And also, we are learning that it has gone further. We are just getting this message that the Indian government has decided that all flights originating from the United Kingdom to India shall be temporarily suspended till midnight on 31st December. And this suspension will start from 11:59 p.m. on the 22nd of December, stay on till 11:59 p.m. on 31st December. Meanwhile, all passengers coming from UK will have to undergo the PCR tests. Mandy, once again, we are learning that the Indian government has also imposed this restriction. So once again, what we can say that governments around the world are taking steps to prevent the spread of this new strain, which is far more infectious than the strain COVID-19, but once vaccinated, people will be safe.
Yeah, and those steps are not out of step with what's happening with the rest of the world. We're seeing those European countries close its borders and flights for some time with the UK, just to really control and clamp down on this super spreading mutant strain. We're also seeing Canada and other countries. So India's decision very much in line with the rest of the world.
Mandy, one final question to you. What are the restrictions in place now for Britishers? What restrictions they face as they head into the holiday season?
There is very tight restrictions for most of the UK, particularly where the new mutant strain has been found, which is the southeast of the country. So really, non-essential travel has been banned. People are encouraged to stay home, not to see family members, to stay within their own bubbles. It is fairly tight restrictions. So not much of a Christmas holiday for many, but the hope is that they can keep enough people safe to prevent COVID from spreading further.
Mandy Clark, thank you so much for joining us from London with all those details on this new strain, this mutant strain of COVID-19, and the steps being taken not only in Britain but across the world. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.